the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars.
Welcome back. I'm Mark Lack, and this is another episode of Business Rockstars. As you know, we're doing these virtual right now instead of in our awesome studio that we have, but we have a special guest with us today, as always. We have the legendary, inspirational Bob Proctor, who is the co-founder of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
My pleasure to be here, Mark.
So we're going to talk about a lot of things and really address how people can work on their mindset right now in these crazy times. But before we do that, I want to give the audience a little idea of what is it that you actually do for anybody who maybe hasn't somehow heard of you and is living under a rock. What do you do?
I help people understand themselves, I think, Mark. Is really the point. Sandy Gallagher and I started the Proctor Gallagher Institute about 15 years ago. I've been in the business since I started to study this book, Think and Grow Rich, Hold Together with Elastic, in 1961. And immediately I became fascinated with the information of why we do what we do and why we don't do many of the things we want to do. And I'm convinced that everything we do is being controlled by what we're thinking. And if we want to change what we're doing, we've got to start by changing our thinking. Most of us don't even choose our thoughts. I show them how we're really programmed by somebody else. We let that program control us.
Where does that programming come from? Society, our parents, teachers, all the above?
Well, it's first of all, it's genetic. That's why if you start to study this, you'll see you look like your relatives. You may not look like your mother and father, but you might look like your grandmother's husband, your grandfather, or somebody like that. You'll find the body form and your facial features. Like when I was young, I had red hair. Now, I've got a brother and a sister, and neither one of them had red hair. My mother and father didn't have red hair. I always say that could lead to all kinds of speculation. But my mother's father and all his brothers had red hair. So sometimes this will jump generations. But it's genetic. It's built right into the genes at birth. And then, of course, when we arrive, our subconscious mind is wide open and we begin to be programmed by our environment. Why we speak the language we speak, or our languages. It's why we like a lot of the food we like. And you're going to find that, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I think there's an awful lot of truth in that. A lot of people, they don't particularly like to think that they're like their parents, but the truth is they are, because They've never done anything to change that programming.
So let's talk about that then. If people are programmed and their mindset is a certain way, then how can people actually start to rewrite it, reprogram their mind so that they can achieve success? Because maybe, as you know, a lot of people come from a background of history from their family that's maybe a long line of middle class or lower class, and they've never achieved success. They've never achieved wealth. How can somebody start to reprogram their mindset?
Well, what you're talking about is the majority of the population there. You're way up around 90% of the people, maybe even higher. Pardon me. I think the first thing you have to do is understand how that programming took place in the first place, how the programming actually happened. And then you have to understand, once you understand how the programming took place, then you have to start to understand how to change that programming. And I refer to that as the paradigm. The paradigm is the program that's been written by somebody else, but you're responsible for changing it. School teaches us virtually nothing about paradigms. School teaches us virtually nothing about our mind. So the average individual is at a loss coming out the gate. And we learn very little about ourselves. We have mental faculties that will give us anything we want, but we don't understand them. I often mention, Mark, that you and I, or people in general, we're the only creature on the planet that is totally disoriented in our environment. All of the other creatures are completely at home in their environment. They operate by instinct, which is perfect. You and I do not operate by instinct. We had instinct removed and we had faculties put in their place. And then we're disoriented in our environment because we've been given the faculties to create our own environment. And we, in fact, do. It's just that most people are programmed to create an environment they don't even like. They don't want, and yet they live in it and then blame someone else. We've got to take responsibility for who we are, what we're doing. We got to quit blaming and start taking responsibility.
So what about the person who's sitting at home, they're listening to this, they just lost their job, maybe their business is shut down, because those are the two categories that most people fall into right now. They've either lost the job or they're quite a few million. They've either lost their job or their business has been shut down. So how can we help that person who's listening right now, who's coming from a place of fear?
Well, I think they first of all got to start and look at it from a proper perspective. Perception is one of our higher faculties. Our good friend Wayne Dyer, I don't know if you ever interviewed Wayne, but he was an interesting guy. Wayne said, when you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes. So what he's talking about is utilizing perception. It's a mental faculty. We have perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. That's what makes Mark who you are. That's what makes you the creative being. That's what makes me who I am. Now, most people don't even know they have those faculties, let alone how to develop them. Perception is one of them. If you take a problem, I often say, take a problem, write it out on a piece of paper. Make sure you write it very, very clear, so that if you gave me that piece of paper, I would see the problem exactly the way you're looking at it. And then put the problem in the center of a table and say, is that problem in me or is it on the paper? And you keep playing that game until you get it out of your head and get it on the paper. Then sit and say, how would Mark Lack look at this? How would Bob Proctor look at this? Go to sit in another place at the table and say, how would Napoleon Hill look at this? Go sit in another place at the table and sit there and get serious about this. I do this frequently. And then say, well, how would Einstein look at this? And mentally get into their energy, or whatever you think it is, and start to study it. You see, what we've got to do is realize the situation is not bad right now. It's not good. It just is. Nothing's good or bad except your thinking makes it so. The room you're in, Mark, is not big or small. It just is. Now, it only becomes big or small when you decide it's big or small, when you start to invoke a law, another law called relativity. Polarity is a law of the universe. Polarity decrees that everything has an opposite. You couldn't have an up without a down, a hot without a cold. Nothing's either bad or good except our thinking makes it so. Now, if we look at it and think it's bad, we're screwed because we can't change it. You cannot change the conditions or circumstance in your life. The only thing you can change is your perception of them. So if the person really gets smart and they look at it and say, well, wait a minute, I think maybe Proctor's got something going here. I think maybe this is true. The fact is, it's not only true, it's very true because it is a law of the universe. This whole universe operates in an orderly way. When the tide goes out, it always comes back. The winter never follows winter. These are laws of the universe. Von Braun said these laws are so precise that we don't have any difficulty sending people to the moon, and you can time the landing with the precision of a fraction of a second. We're able to do that because we understand the laws. Von Braun understood the laws. Well, if we start to understand the laws and say one of the laws is polarity, this situation is neither bad nor good. I can make it what I want. How would I make it good? Well, you could say you've been liberated. You're no longer in the situation you were in. This is a start over time. You got a marvelous mind. You can do anything you want. All the money in the world's available to you. All you have to do is earn it. And then say, damn, I'm a fortunate guy. Or you can sit and say, well, this is really screwing things up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might as well just go away and die. You got a choice. What do you want? See, the beautiful truth is we can choose.
One of the things that I love that you said was the exercise of practicing, forcing yourself to look at it from a different perspective,
Oh,
disassociate from your standard model of the world, and
that's right.
and try to look at it from someone else's perspective. And I love the different role models and thought leaders that you used as examples. It sounds so simple in nature, but I know how powerful it is because I practice it myself. What is another powerful exercise that somebody could do to just, I guess, make their life better? Like that exercise of disassociating and looking at things from another perspective. I'm sure every woman on here would love their husband to practice that more often. But in life, there's so many little
Probably every
simple...
husband would like his wife to practice it more often too.
I
But
should
you
say
see,
that as well.
there's different exercises dealing with the same thing. Michael Beckwith, I don't know if you've ever interviewed Michael. He's a pretty interesting guy. He's a good friend. And Michael said something one time. We were both speaking at the same meeting, and I love listening to him. And he said something just about blew my mind. I wrote it down, and I've shared it with a lot of people. Said, when anything happens in your life, take a 3-step approach to looking at it. This situation we're all in right now is a good one. He said there's a 3-step approach. 1, it is what it is, accept it. It's either going to control you or you're going to control it. Now just think of that for a moment. That's what I was just talking about. It is what it is, accept it. It's either going to control you or you're going to control it. Number 2, harvest the good. There's good in everything. And the more you look for, the more you're going to find. And number 3, forgive all the rest. Remember years ago, there was a guy who wrote a stuff about small stuff. He said, don't sweat the small stuff. And everything's small stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that I know that you are a huge leader on and advocate of for other people to learn and implement in their life and their business is the science of getting rich. So let's talk about that. Is it a science? How is there a formula? Why is this science? How is this science of getting rich not taught in the school system? And how can somebody start to follow this formula?
Well, the school system doesn't understand the science of getting rich. I mean, that's fairly obvious. All the teachers are broke. They think knowledge is power. Knowledge isn't power. If knowledge was power, the library would be one of the hottest spots in town. It's got all the knowledge. I mean, there's millions of books in the Harvard Library, millions, I think 8 million, 10 million books. Knowledge is not power. You got to put the knowledge to work, you see? So you got to look at it from a number of different points of view. And you've got to realize that you can reduce the earning of money to an exact science. And Wallace Wattles did that. I've got, I should have it right here, I think. Where did I put it? Well, I put it back. Hold on, I got to get it down.
I was like, it's somewhere on that bookshelf of yours.
Yeah, here it is. This is an original copy that Sandy Gallagher gave me of The Science of Getting Rich. And this was written, this particular copy, in 1915. This is the book that Rhonda Byrne created The Secret on. She read this and then made The Secret. The Science of Getting Rich is an excellent little book. And he says there's an exact science to it, and there is. And if one person in town can get rich, anybody can get rich. All you have to do is find out, what did that person do? First of all, you've got to understand that you are dealing in an orderly universe. And you've got to understand, you've got to have a grasp of the laws. And then you've got to start working in harmony with the law. Now, it's a strange thing. Getting rich is not a difficult thing to do. It's something anybody could do. I could teach anyone how to get rich. In fact, I wrote a book, You're Born Rich. Everybody's born rich. Most people are just a little short of money. You see, money has to be earned. And you earn money by providing service. A lot of people think it's not fair that Taylor Swift or somebody like that earns millions and millions of dollars. It's very fair. She entertains millions of people. She records one record, and it entertains millions of people every day because they keep playing the same record. It's her record. She's entertained those people. And it's ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Every time they play it, she gets money. See, most people think you go to work to earn money. That's the worst way to earn money. You go to work for satisfaction, not to earn money. I had a good friend of mine, a doctor down in, he was sort of friend, not a good friend, but I know him well, in Phoenix. And he was in a seminar one day and he told me he was going to leave the profession, leave the medical profession. I said, why are you going to leave? Well, I said, you can't earn any money. He said, the medical profession is all screwed up today, so you got to put in more time to earn less money. And I said, well, why'd you become a doctor? Well, he said, I love it. I said, what the hell do you want to quit for? Well, he said, I told you, you can't earn the money. And I said, listen, you got it mixed up in your head. You don't go to work to earn money. You go to work for satisfaction. You provide service to earn money. There's people that are sleeping all night long and they're earning money. I earn money while I'm sleeping all night long. In fact, I earn quite a bit. I don't keep track of it, but some morning I should probably do that.
You got people for that, outsource.
I think that's a good exercise for my business partner. She's the one that's really tuned into the money. And I said, you've got to understand, you earn money by providing service. Wealthy people historically have multiple sources of income. They don't have one, they have many. I don't know how many sources you've got, but I would imagine you've got quite a few. In fact, odds are pretty good you don't even know how many sources of income you've got.
I'm aware of 7, but there's probably more than that.
Well, there's probably more than that. There's spin-offs from those 7 that you're probably not looking at, but money's flowing in from them. And that's the way wealthy people go. And I told them, I said, the fact that you can go to work at what you love, that is huge, because that's where you get your satisfaction. You know, in the Science of Getting Rich, we've got a whole program on it. It's an excellent program. They go online, they'll find it. We just did a seminar on it, a virtual seminar. In fact, I think they can probably get the seminar. It was a 3-day seminar, and it's phenomenal information. I fell in love with it years ago. You know,
it's powerful.
Yes,
I know your stuff is amazing, and people should definitely check it out. While we're on that note, what's the website?
Just go to Proctor Gallagher Institute, or you can go to bobproctor.com. They'll find, they'll be led to the website.
So
it's Proctor Gallagher Institute.
So let's talk about something that you touched on, was that you don't go to work to make money, but yet that's what probably 99% of people on here listening and watching and tuning in, that's how they make money. They go to work to make money. So
that's why they're not making money, Mark. They go to work to earn money, and that's why they're not earning it, because they're working against the law. If you don't love what you're doing, you're not going to give the best you've got to it. And if you're not giving the best you've got, you're not going to get the best you deserve. You're only going to get according to what you put out. When you fall in love with an idea, that idea is going to inspire you. It's going to cause you to reach and to stretch and to do things in a bigger way. It's like Alfred Adler said, I am grateful to the idea that has used me. I love that quote of his, because I'm grateful to the idea that has used me. These ideas that I'm involved with have used me for 59 years now, and I just absolutely love them. I think probably it's something that most people never learn. And it's unfortunate because life can be so much better than it is. You're dealing with entrepreneurs all the time. And I think an entrepreneur has to understand they have creative faculties. There's no gamble when they're betting on themselves. They're betting on the surest thing in the world. The problem is they have to start to understand themselves. They have to understand what makes them tick. And then they have to follow their love. You know, Sandy Gallagher, I mentioned, was my business partner. She came to a seminar. In fact, it was the Science of Getting Rich seminar she came to back away, 15 years ago. It was around 2006. And somebody asked her if she wanted to go to a management seminar. And so she said, yes, she'd like to do that. She was a securities attorney, had been for 20 years, and very successful one. She was a partner in a pretty good sized law firm. And I started to ask them, what do you really want? And she said that's the first time in her life that she was aware that she wasn't sure what she wanted. Did she really want to be a lawyer? And she realized she wasn't really in love with what she was doing. And then she made up her mind. She said she wanted to be in our inner circle. She wanted to be my closest advisor. And she's put this in a little book. Well, it ended up, half a dozen years later, she became my partner. She owns half the company. And she's a financial genius. But she had to break out of being a lawyer and not just a new kid on the block. I mean, she graduated in 1988, so she'd been at the business for a long time. But she wasn't doing what she loved. And you see, I think the entrepreneur that's winning is a person that's doing what they love to do. And they can always do it bigger and do it better because we have infinite potential. There's no end to where we can go and what we can do. But they've got to break out and make that move. And that's what a lot of people aren't doing. They're playing it safe.
So do you think on that note that somebody should either start completely over and go after something that they love, or should somebody just maybe, you know how sometimes we get into business, we love it, we got into it for all the right reasons, then life happens, then business happens because we let it happen. We're not aware of all the ways to make things work smoothly. So all of a sudden the business that we started from a place of passion now becomes something that we almost hate, we almost regret, we almost despise it, even though we started it with the right mentality. Should they reinvigorate their love and passion and their purpose and their why, or should they close it down and start over? I know those are two different scenarios, but. Well,
in some cases, they should probably close it down, start over. And in another case, they may not. I think what they've got to do is really start to understand themselves better. I don't think the business is their problem. I think they are the problem. They don't understand themselves well enough. I was mentioning these higher faculties, and we talked just about one perception. You know, there's others. Most people are raised to live through their senses. They go by what they hear, see, smell, taste, touch. I got a couple little Pomeranian dogs in the house. They can see, hear, smell, taste, touch, but they can't do the things I do. They don't have these higher faculties. And I think that's what we've got to learn. You know, you've got the will, reason, imagination, memory, perception, intuition. These are phenomenal faculties. And it's what helps us break through the limitations. You'll hear people say, well, you've got to be realistic. If you're going to be realistic, you're probably toast. I mean, you're not going to go any further than you've gone. No, you've got to become unrealistic. The Wright brothers weren't realistic. Edison wasn't realistic. What do you mean illuminate the world? What do you mean fly up? You're not going to fly. You can't fly. Anything you have your ears attracted towards the center of the world. You're crazy. You're going to kill yourself. But they introduced us to a new kingdom, didn't they?
Yeah.
Hillary didn't know how to get to the top of the mountain. They didn't know how to fly. They didn't know how to illuminate the world. You got to go after something. You have no idea how you're going to do it, but the idea really winds your stem. Say, that's what I want. Hillary didn't know how to get to the top of the mountain until after he got there. The Wright brothers couldn't tell you how to fly until after they were in the air. Edison couldn't tell you how to make an incandescent light until he had it made. Story goes, he was holding it saying, hello, hello. He didn't even know what he had. You know? Well, I think individuals have to understand themselves. That's where, when I'm talking to someone, I tell them that's where they should start. We have coaching programs, 13-month coaching program. It's all about them. And there's 13 months, we're just teaching them step after step after step. You see, what I'm looking at is not Mark. What I'm looking at is Mark's body. You never hear anyone say M hand. We say my hand, my head, my suit, my hair, my body. You don't say M body, M hand. Well, the body's only one small part of us. I was reading something here this morning. Just let me share it with you for a moment because it's so good. It's what I'm studying right now.
I love it. Always reading and learning.
Well, I've been reading this for over a year, these 2 pages. He said, of course, I speak of the whole man and not merely of the part of him that Walt Whitman says is contained between his hat and his boots. The whole man is an infinitude, and the visible portion of him is the instrument through which he looks out upon and enjoys all that belongs to him. We're spiritual beings. We get the power of the whole universe locked up within us. We don't even have to get it. We've got it. What we have to learn how to do, Mark, is release it. And desire is the triggering mechanism to release the energy. See, the person that you were talking about that had this idea and they were enthused and they went out and they started the business, but something happened. They probably started to let the business control them.
Yes.
I did that. And the business was controlling me for a long time. I knew what my problem was. I don't understand finances. I don't understand the intricate side of the mechanical, financial side of business. I think it's the most boring thing in the world. Sandy Gallagher loves it. That's where her head is. She reads books on algebra. I'm thinking, get out of here. I am very creative. I'm a good people person. I work well with the people. I work well with ideas. We've got to understand what our strengths and our weaknesses are, really understand ourselves. See, I believe that person you're talking to that was enthused about a business, I think they can reinvent or reignite that enthusiasm that they had. They're probably in the right business, but they're letting the business control them. They've got to sit back and say, is the business in me or is it out here?
So
I like my, who is it? He said, management consultant. He said, if your business requires your presence, you don't even have a business, you have a job.
I love that one too. I've heard that.
Yeah. And it's so true.
Yeah.
We've got to be in control.
So,
and I think we have to understand who we are. The more we understand these higher faculties, Mark, the more we're writing our own ticket.
Which 100% agree. I mean, a lot of the books behind me are a combination of helping me understand myself. You know, a lot of the books that you're referencing are on my shelf as well. This is just one of my bookshelves. And that seems to be a common trait amongst people who, you know, always are a work in progress. Reading every day. My mantra is read an hour a day will pave the way. I always read 1 hour a day. First thing in the morning, I put knowledge into my mind. And it seems as if you have similar rituals in your own way.
I was in here at 5:30 this morning in the studio. I'm in here at 5:30 every morning. And I write down 10 things I'm grateful for. And then I start writing my exercise for the day. And then I start to study. I study this paper. I was just reading some to you. But I've been reading this. There's only 2 sheets of paper. I've been reading this for over a year. Sandy Gallagher and I read the same paper for about 18 months one time. It was only about 3 pages. It was Getting into the Spirit of It by Thomas Troward. Now, she's on the West Coast and I'm here on the East Coast, so we weren't together. Our problem was getting our time synchronized so that we could read it together. And I'd read a few lines and I'd say pass, and she'd pick it up and start reading, and she'd say pass, and we'd read it back and forth, and then we'd discuss it. We did that every day for approximately an hour. And you've got to keep studying. Do you see, we're dealing with infinite potential. The only way to get it is through understanding. The only way to get understanding is through study. Solomon was a pretty bright guy, King Solomon. And he said, in all you're getting, get understanding. But the only way to get it is through study.
So something that, I mean, I'm sure other people have told you this many, many times, but one of the things that's so inspiring about you is that you just seem to keep on going and helping people and serving people. And, you know, I know at this stage in your life and your career, it has nothing to do with money. I'm sure money's fun, but you said you make it while you sleep. So there's obviously something else driving you. What is it that keeps Bob Proctor just moving in that direction with so much momentum, impacting millions of people every single year? You're running advertisements online. I see your ads. Like, most people would have stopped. Most people would have found some other thing to do. They might be on the golf course. What is it that's the underlying thing that's helping you keep going?
Well, you know, I'll digress from your answering your question just for a second. You mentioned the golf course. I have a brother who plays golf every day. And somebody asked me the other day, do you ever play golf? And I said, yeah, I used to play quite a bit of golf a long time ago, but I quit. And I was out playing with Jack Lawley, who was a golf pro. This is a long time ago. And I don't know, we're on about 8th or 9th hole. And I said, Jack, I'm going to quit. I got to go to work. I was really resenting the time that it took to play a game of golf. And he said, well, okay. He said, do you want to come out tomorrow? I said, no, I'm quitting. I'm not going to play golf anymore. I'm quitting playing. And I never went back. I didn't like playing. I didn't like the time I had to spend. I love working at what I'm working at. I love it. And I think that is really the key. That's what keeps you going. If you love something, why would you quit doing it? I don't know what the hell I'd do if I quit doing this.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Keeps you young.
I'll be 86 in a couple of about 3-4 weeks. And I got as much energy as I had when I was 46. You see, desire is the triggering mechanism to release energy. And all the energy in the universe is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. All science and all theology clearly indicate that. Well, if all the energy in the universe is evenly present in all places at the same time, it has to be within me, it has to be within you. So how do we release it? Desire is the triggering mechanism to get that juice flowing. Well, if you've got a strong desire to do what you're doing, like I said to somebody the other day, if I died, I'd be really pissed off because I got too many things left to do. You know, I'm working on a lot of projects. Sandy and I right now are laying out a plan. She's laying it out where she is, and I'm laying it out where I am, of creating a program that we teach it now in live seminars, paradigm shift. We're going to make an actual program out of it that our consultants can market. We've got consultants in 88 countries now. You know? Wow. Yeah.
It's incredible. So it's the same question I get asked, you've probably been asked for many, many, many more years, is were you always this type of guy? Were you always the motivational, happy, positive, no. driven? Okay.
No. Listen, in 1961, I was on the fire department in a suburb of Toronto. I shouldn't have been on the fire department because I didn't have any of the qualifications to get the job. There was, I think, 21 positions open. They were hiring 14 and 6 or 7, two different lots over the next year and a half or two. They run an ad in the paper. Well, they get hundreds of thousands of people who want to get on the fire department. I got kicked out of school in grade 9, 2 months in school, high school, no formal education, no business experience. I had a bad work record, and I had a bad attitude. My mother lived a couple of doors down from a magistrate. That's like a judge. And I had the courage, and it took a lot, to go up and knock on his door and tell him that I was putting in an application. If there was anything he could do to help me, I'd really appreciate it. I think he was impressed that I asked him. He called me in to his house, and he got the mayor on the phone like that. I'm on the fire department. Sure, I'm working 7 days and 7 nights a month. I was virtually retired. And I was earning $4,000 a year, but I owed $6,000. So here I'm earning 4, I owed 6, I owed it to everybody and his brother all over the place. I didn't own it one place. And I had a bad attitude. And I met a guy that saw something in me, obviously, that I didn't see in myself. His name was Ray Stanford. He said to me, do you ever look at the results you're getting, Proctor? And I said, what do you mean? He said, you're unhappy, you're sick, you're broke. He says, you're one of the most miserable people I've ever met. And this guy, big guy, he was happy, healthy, and wealthy. Always had a lot of money on him. I didn't know him very well. He said, why don't you change your results? It never entered my mind that I could. And he said, do you ever read anything? I said, no, I can't read. No, that wasn't true. I could, but not well. I found out I read about as well as most people. I read at about a grade 7 level. And that's because we learned to read that by the time we're in grade 7. And then we never improved upon the skill. Well, he got me to study this book. And he got me to set a goal. And he said, you got to write the goal on the card. Well, I wrote the goal on the card. Here's my goal card. I carry one. I have for 59 years. That I was going to have in my possession by New Year's Day of 1970, $25,000. I really didn't believe that could happen. I did it because he insisted I do it. He said, just trust me. He said, my way's working, yours is not. do exactly what I'm telling you. I don't know why, but I did. And then I found Earl Nightingale's condensed narration of Think and Grow Rich on a record. And I started to play the record and read the book. Do you know, I was reading this often, every day. And what it did, and it's only in retrospect that I realized this, I started to think of earning money. Up until then, all I was thinking about was debt. If any of your listeners is in debt, and that's their goal to get out of debt, they'll probably be in debt forever. That's a terrible goal. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay your debts. You should focus on prosperity. That's how you look after the debt. Well, you know, within a year, I was earning $175,000 a year. Now, I was earning $14,500 a month. That annualized that, it's about 175 grand. I was cleaning floors. I was prepared to do anything honest to earn money. And I started to clean floors. I ended up cleaning floors in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London, England. I was earning over $1 million a year. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. If you had asked me what I was doing, I would tell you I was cleaning floors. What I was really doing was studying this material and sharing it with the cleaners. I was getting the cleaners excited about themselves. I decided one day when I couldn't figure out why I was earning all this money, and I thought about it, I had been raised to believe if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. And I knew that wasn't true because I knew I wasn't that smart and I was earning a lot of money. You don't have to be very smart to earn a lot of money at all. And then I was raised to believe if you don't go to school, you don't get a good education, you'll never have a good job. I didn't have a good job. I owned the whole company. Everybody was working for me in all these different places. So I thought, I don't know why I'm winning. It took me 9 years to figure it out. And when I did figure it out, all I wanted to do was teach it. I left the business then that I was in, and I went and I got a job with Nightingale-Conant. I worked for Earl Nightingale and Lloyd-Conant for 5 years. I was prepared to work. I was prepared to pay them to let me work there. I just wanted to study this. And I have learned that if I study this every day, as long as I live, I'm still going to have a lot to learn. You never stop learning. If a person thinks they know it all, they're toast. They're going in the wrong direction. If we want to grow, we've got to keep studying. I believe that our company is the best material in the world. I'm not in this for self-aggrandizement, neither Sandy. We're in this to help Mark understand Mark better, help Betty understand Betty better, to help Johnny understand Johnny better, to help them understand how to break out of that job that they want to break out of and start their own company, and then how to build their own company. Anybody can do it. So if a person's out of work right now, rather than feeling bad, I would suggest you say, I've got a choice. I can feel bad, or I can look at this from a different perspective. I can see this as a point to start over. I think now I'm going to figure out how to do what I really love to do. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to build something I want to build. You know, I sat in a room, Mark, when I left Nightingale-Conant in 1973. I sat in a room and I took this pen in my hand, not this one, but a pen. And I said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. Today, we have representatives in 88 countries. We just streamed the Science of Getting Rich seminar here a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago, went into 119 countries.
Wow.
I had absolutely no idea how I was going to do it, but I knew I would do it. So if somebody's listening and they've got a dream, for God's sake, go after it. You'll find help, but you've got to commit to go after it. You'll get the help you need. You'll attract everything that you need. It'll all come to you. You know, Sandy, my partner, she's a specialist in visualization. And she's a master at it. And that's really where the key. We've got an imagination. We want to see ourselves where we really want to be. Like she's becoming a world champion in horses, with riding horses. I'm not remotely interested in horses. She got gaited horses, beautiful big horses. She does that as well as run the business. We can do whatever we want, and we can be the best at it. But we've got to understand ourselves.
So for the person who says, I wanted to start my own business, and then I lost my business, and then I lost my job, and then we both know it's never the right time to start a business. There's never a perfect day. There's never a perfect moment. But right now, people would probably say this would, at a surface level, this would seem to be one of the worst times to start a business, is what the regular person who just lost everything might be thinking. Is now actually a great time to start a business online or just in general?
If anybody studies history, you will find that this is probably one of the best times to start a business.
Yes.
Look at this for a moment. I've got this on my desk, the sand timer. Sand in the top of the glass represents the future. The sand in the bottom of the glass represents the past. No one knows how much sand is in the top of the glass. All we know is what's in the bottom of the glass. The past is gone. This hasn't been here yet. The only thing we've got is what right here, right now. So nothing's good or nothing bad. Everything just is. And all you've got is now. Get your head in the right space. I did a seminar here a while ago. We'll probably do it again. Your success is 5% strategy, 95% mindset. I don't care what you're doing. It's about 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Do you know what people do? They spend 95% of their time and money on strategy and a little bit of time on mindset. They don't even understand mindset. They don't understand their mind. Mind is movement. Our mind operates much the same as this cell phone operates. It operates on a frequency. We got to get on the frequency of the good we desire. If nothing's created or destroyed, everything's already here. You see, the way to make one of these phones has always been here. But it wasn't until someone got on that frequency and they started to attract what they needed to make the phone. Everything you want is already here, but you got to see yourself in that position. And when you do that, you've moved your mind onto that frequency and you'll start to attract things to you. You know, the secret left a lot of people thinking you just have to think it and you're going to get it. Well, that's not necessarily true. The law of attraction is a secondary law. It's not a primary law. The law of vibration is a primary law. Everything vibrates. This pen is vibrating right now. The walls in the room that you're in is vibrating. If you look at the walls through a microscope, you'll see it moving. A body in a coffin is not dead, it's moving. The soul has moved out of it. If it wasn't moving, how would it ever change to dust? Now that should keep you thinking for at least 20 years. Everything moves, nothing rests. Your mind and body is in a vibration, and that's controlled by your thinking. You attract to you whatever's in harmony with the vibration you're in. It's all induction and attraction. That's what it's all about. So we've got to see ourselves with the good that we desire. If you see yourself in bad times, got news for you, baby. There's more of it coming, and it's going to be delivered right on schedule. You better see yourself with what you want. You know, in the song, there's a great song, Pretend, by Nat King Cole. God, he's just a great singer. And in it, the lyrics, it says, the little things you haven't got could be a lot if you just pretend. You know? Well, that's where everything starts, in pretending. You start in your own mind. This book was nothing but an idea in a person's mind. The fact that we can look at each other.
Yeah.
And you're in Orange County and I'm in Toronto, and we can look at each other as if we're sitting next door. Well, in truth, we are. We're right together. Why? Because somebody had the idea that we could do this. God, your grandparents would roll over in their grave if they could see what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's no end to what we can do. We've got to understand that if you see one person do something, anybody can do it. It's, do you want to? I think everybody wants more. They want more life. They want more money. They want more friends. They want more fun. They want more health. And that is normal and natural. And that is because our spiritual DNA is perfect. The center of our consciousness is perfection. And that perfection seeks expansion and expression. There's something in us that wants to be expressed with and through us. I don't care how fast you run, you're going to want to run faster. I don't care how high you jump, you're going to want to jump higher. I don't care how much you earn, you're going to want to earn more. It's not to get, it's to grow. And that is the secret behind goals. Goals are not to get, goals are to grow. And if you don't have a goal, you're probably not growing. You're just going sideways.
So you touched on so many things that I would love to highlight all of them. One of the things that I love that you said was really just how what you think you attract, and how I literally live that. Because you keep referencing Think and Grow Rich. That was one of the books that, was the first domino effect in changing the direction of my life. I saw people making millions of dollars on the internet. I said, that's something that I want to do. I want to be able to make millions of dollars online from anywhere in the world, change people's lives, and really grow and give more. And now we've done, tens of millions of dollars. And it's just amazing, exactly what you're saying. You see it happen from somebody else. You study how to do it. You get mentors. You get your mindset right. And the key, though, that I think school has conditioned so many of us to believe why strategy is more important than mindset is because in school, they teach you it's the strategy, it's the tactic, and you get the A+ on the test. They never teach you a mindset's going to help you get an A+ on the test. It's always the strategy, and the knowledge is the power. So mindset is one of those key things that's left out of society, and having them realize that mindset can help them become successful. I want to say two things. One, why? If mindset is so important, why has it never been something that has been talked about, right? Unless you go and find the Bob Proctors and the other, legendary people who've been teaching this for decades, you never really hear mindset unless you sit down with Michael Jordan or, the top achievers. They know mindset, but the 99.9% don't. So why is mindset not something that's more talked about in society? And number two, what are things people can do, I guess, outside of just reading books to level up their mindset? Is it changing their inner circle?
Well, there's a number of things they can do. It's not taught because many people don't understand it. I work with a lot of psychiatrists. They don't even understand it.
Yeah.
See, what you learn in school is one thing. You're being taught by somebody who's been taught from a book. I've been taught from personal experience in the field, doing it. And that's the difference. Mindset is everything because your life is controlled by whatever your mind is dictating. Everything starts in the mind. We work from a higher to a lower potential. It's like if you want more light from your light bulb, get a bigger bulb. There's the only limit placed on electricity. Nobody even knows what electricity is, by the way, but they don't know what it is. No one. The only limit placed on electricity is a limit that's placed on the form through which it's flowing. The only limit placed on the mind is the limit that's placed on the form through which it's flowing, namely this thing we're living in, our body.
Yes.
That's controlled by the mindset. The mind is movement. Mind's not a thing. Mind is not the brain. The brain is part of the body. The brain is an electronic switching station. The mind activates brain cells, and that causes the body to move into different vibrations. The brain is an electronic switching station, as magnificent as it is. The brain on its own does nothing. Apparently, we got Albert Einstein's brain in a jar down in New Jersey or somewhere, but it's not doing anybody any good because Albert's not with it. The brain by itself is nothing. The mind activates the brain cells. So it's the mindset is everything. It's really important. Now, the second part of the question was.
So yeah, so it was, why is it not taught in school?
Oh yeah, it's not taught because people don't understand it.
Yeah,
that's really why.
And then what people can do to actually, outside of just maybe, for me, a big thing has been reading books, but there's a lot of others, and I want you to fill in the gaps for people. What are other?
I think I'll say, listen, there's all kinds of. Quite frankly, I don't know anyone that's teaching what we're teaching the way we teach it. And I don't say that because it's my name on it. I say it because of the teachers I've had. And all I'm interested in is doing what they did. I just want the student to understand this better. I want them to get better results. So all our focus is in that area.
And you're also one of the only people who's been doing this for multiple decades.
Well, I've been doing it longer than anybody alive because I just lasted. I've outlasted them all. Lived longer. That's how you win. Anybody can go to our site and download the book, You Are Born Rich. And look around, we've got other material there, but download the book. It won't cost you a cent. You Are Born Rich. And I get into all of this stuff there. And so it's all broken down. When I did, many years ago, I sat down after I figured out why I had changed, and I categorized it all into areas, and I wrote the book on it. Because I know that if I could win, anybody could win. I mean, I was a loser in every sense of the word until I was 26. I mean, I didn't start out as a little kid. And I was an unhappy kid. I've thought, well, were you always I was always unhappy. Now, that didn't mean I didn't have fun sometimes, but there's a big difference between fun and happiness. As a kid, I had fun. Fun's short-lived and it's very shallow. Happiness is something that runs very deep and it's long-lasting. I'm happy today. I have fun too, but I'm happy now. And I think when a person starts to study this and gain an understanding of mindset, tell them to watch our site or just come on, leave their information, and I'll send information. I'll do a set. I've been thinking of it anyway. I've been going to do our marketing director, Mikey. She's a good example. She was a nanny when she started to work with us. Today she's our chief operating officer and also our marketing director, a very bright lady. She's been with us 10 or 11 years now. She wants me to do one, mindset with money. See, we did one mindset, 5% strategy, 95% mindset. Well, I'm going to do one now. She's after me to do it. So this conversation probably motivated me to go with her on it. And we're going to do one mindset on money. And money, it's all about mindset. It's in here. And you got to believe you're going to get it. And you get it. It comes to you. It's not an accident. Money is energy, the same as anything, same as the sand in this glass is energy.
Yeah.
And that's all we have to look after is right now.
Yeah.
You know?
And speaking of energy, one of the things that I'm a huge advocate of is the importance of, especially if you're trying to build a business online, sell products and services online, build a brand online. One of the things that I've become an advocate of, and I've seen it work so well, we've done hundreds of millions of dollars with our clients implementing this, as you have, is your personal brand. The one thing that I found that is so helpful is there's a reason Bob Proctor has done so well. And it's because you get on camera, people start to know, like, and trust Bob Proctor, your energy, they connect with you, they build rapport with you, and they're going to be way more influenced by you. Mm-hmm. And therefore you can help more people, you can create more impact. And as a result, you can make a lot more money. So for me, personal branding is one of the online marketing tactics that I found works so well to stand out. And it's like Oprah Winfrey as an extreme example. You never really see her doing fancy marketing. She's never doing tripwires and retargeting. She's never A/B split testing headlines. She's not doing webinars and YouTube ads. She's not doing a lot of the traditional advertising that people online do. Yet she's supposedly worth $5 billion net worth because she has hundreds of millions of people that love her and trust her. So how has your personal brand been a conscious, instrumental strategy to helping you grow online?
Oddly enough, it's not something I've ever focused on, but I realize how important it is. Today, I think I focused where I should have been focused. I focused on helping the people that I was serving. I focused on doing a better job today than I did yesterday. That's all I've ever done my whole life. So I think you become your own brand. You are your own brand. I am my own brand.
I love that you said that though, real quick. Your focus has been on helping people because that's that's the foundation behind what I teach people. Your personal brand cannot be centered around trying to make money. It has to be centered around trying to help people.
If you see, everybody wants help. Everyone, all over the world. And that is because everyone is a spiritual being. Everyone. Spirit's omnipresent. The essence of your being is spirit. It's always for expansion and fuller expression. They're looking for help. All I want to do is help people. That's all our companies ever wanted to do. And that's how we created the brand. But something you were saying, Mark, if a person's trying to do something, they've got to go to the best in the business and ask for help. If that's what I was working on, I'd be knocking on your door. You got a great reputation in that area. No, I would. You see, I went to the best in the world when it comes to teaching what I teach. I've had 7 phenomenal mentors, all right? And they were the best in this business. And I started off, fortunately, with the right teacher when he gave me this book. He said, if you do exactly what I tell you, and I don't know why, but I did. And it worked so well. So from then on, if I had a mentor, and I've had a half a dozen, I always did exactly what they told me. And I tell people, if I'm coaching someone, you got to do exactly what I'm telling you, or I'll fire you. I will not keep working where I do. And I did. I have done that. You see, otherwise I'm going to waste your time and I'm going to waste mine too. And I don't want to do that. Time's too valuable, especially when you're around 86 years old. It becomes more valuable. So I think that is the key. Go to the pros, ask for help, buy it, pay for it. You'll get it back 1,000 times over. But the brand is everything.
Yeah.
Somebody told me I was better known in Iran than I am in Indiana. I mean, my name's known all over the world. And I've never tried to do that. I've just tried to be better today than I was yesterday. I want to help people.
I love that. And that's the foundation behind everything that we try to teach people is if your personal brand comes from exactly what you said, which is you have a legendary personal brand that's going to live on forever. The core of a personal brand is to help people. And when you do that, you attract all the right people, all the right partners, and all the right opportunities. Let's wrap up with what is a positive, powerful saying, quote, or mantra that you live by? I think we've been talking about this a little bit throughout this whole thing is people are always living with sayings and stories that are either holding them back or compelling them to go in a certain direction. So do you have any stories, quotes, sayings?
I have one I've been using for years. It's by Dean Briggs. You'll love it. He said, do your work, not just your work and no more, but a little more for the lavishing sake. That little more which is worth all the rest. And if you suffer as you must, and you doubt as you must, do your work. Put your heart into it, and the sky will clear, and out of your very doubt and suffering will be born the supreme joy of life.
Beautiful. I love that as well.
Anytime I found myself a little overwhelmed with something that might be going on, I say that to myself. I say it over and over and over. Yeah.
Powerful. I love that. I have just like you, I have my 2 sheets of paper every morning that I actually have as the bookmark. So whatever book I'm reading, my 2 sheets of paper are the bookmark. And I read quotes and mantras and sayings and powerful things to remember and condition myself with the story and the beliefs that I need to have to move in the direction. So
turn the machine up.
Turn the machine up. So people are thinking the same thing I am, which is I'm inspired, I'm motivated, and I want to keep learning from Mr. Bob Proctor. Where can they do that? Is there a website? Is there social media? Where can they learn more? Where can they get your book?
Go to bobproctor.com or go to proctorgallagher.com. It's all over the place. And leave your name and we will put you on the list and we'll send you every time we're doing something. I do broadcasts now. I've started doing a thing called Good News. We don't even charge for it. We just put it out on the internet. We built a studio. I'm literally in our own television station here. We've got multiple cameras in here. It can be the young guy, Scott Edwards, that runs the studio. He can operate everything in here from anywhere in the world. And we can broadcast all over the world, multiple cameras, and we do. So keep your eye open. You know, if you get on our list, we'll let you know when we're doing things, and always trying to help people understand themselves better. Gosh, a person starts to understand themselves, they got to get so excited because there's something so exciting about every one of us.
Agreed.
I love it.
It's beautiful. You guys heard that. If you want to get more resources, I'm on his list. He sends out tons of amazing things every single week. So go opt in the newsletter, get his book, go to the website, follow him on social media. You're going to get so much free value because you heard it from himself. He's just trying to help people. And I can tell you from experience, having studied lots of Bob's work over the years, it is amazing and life-changing. So Bob, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time, and I know it helped a lot of people. Thanks so much.
My pleasure, Mark. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks, Bob.